This film was sponsored by New York Life and its dedicated agents, proud sponsors of NFL team highlight films. New York Life, the company you keep.
No excuses today. Everybody's got to sell out. Leave it on the field. Everybody in this group has got to sell out today. We've got to come out and play hard. 60 minutes, guys. Here we go, man. Here we go, man.
Goes deep middle. It is complete to Taylor. Breaks the tackle. He'll go 20, 15. Touchdown 49ers.
Come on, defense! Get him! Sack him!
Back to throw, goes across the middle to Jones. He's down, he fumbles the ball. He was already down, I believe, but then it's picked up by Gerard. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown 49ers.
Gerard reached in and just took it away.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Here we come, we're back. Here we come.
Young drops back to throw. Looks downfield, gonna run for it. He may get there. Oh, what a play. What a play by Steve Young. It's like he's got stereophonic sound and cinemascope vision. Boy, he is running today. Highway 101 belongs to Jerry Rice. Next exit, Hall of Fame.
The road to Pasadena comes through Candlestick now, baby.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Field of Streams, Candlestick Park, the NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. It's rainy, it's ugly, it's awful, it's perfect football weather. The 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys for the right to go to the Super Bowl.
Backside pressure, he gets the ball away, downfield. He's in there, he's to the 30, he's going to win the race, 10, 5, touchdown 49ers, he simply out-sprinted Isaac Holt into the end zone, 63-yard touchdown pass. But wait, there is a flag, holding on San Francisco. Wow.
San Francisco's quest for a fifth Super Bowl victory came to an end against Dallas. But throughout a proud tradition distinguished by high achievement, setbacks such as these have inspired the 49ers to be even more determined in their pursuit of greatness. Coming off their first non-playoff campaign in 10 years, the 49ers immediately displayed their commitment to team unity in the season opener. Against the Giants, Steve Young threw a touchdown pass to Tom Rathman. Then Steve Bono replaced an injured Young while retaining number 44 as his primary target.
Rathman, he might get in again. He dives into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. Bono rolling back, backside pressure. He's got Rathman. He should get in. Touchdown 49ers.
Not one, not two, but three. Can you believe it? I can.
Tenacious defense also helped carve a 31-14 victory.
Mims to throw. Looks around. Hits. 49ers. John Johnson picks it off. He's back to the 40. 35.
John Johnson produced the 49ers' first regular season interception return for a touchdown since 1986.
Gets by Sims. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown 49ers.
2 weeks later, a return to the Meadowlands proved that the 49ers were a powerful football club.
Come on, club or no club. Well, gotta get the job done, baby. We're clubbing to death, clubbing to death. Clubbing to death. We got the patented club. Clubbing to death, baby.
The Jets were battered by a ferocious pass rush and baffled by Steve Young, who threw for 2 scores and ran for another in a 31-14 win. The following week, the Niners were back on the road, and in New Orleans, they had to lay down the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. Steve Young also showed that beating the Saints is a matter of survival of the fastest.
Young drops back to throw. Some outside pressure from Swilling. He gets away, decides to run to the 25, to the 20, breaks the tackle, up the middle, at the 1-yard line. They stop him just short of a touchdown.
What a great run. He split 2 tacklers and then juked out.
Tom Rathman finished off Young's sprint. Then ultimately it was up to the defense to preserve a hard-fought 16-10 advantage.
Big play, baby, big play.
In a contest that would represent the season's turning point, cornerback Eric Davis answered the big play call.
Now he drops back to throw, runs around. Holt almost got him, but didn't. Throws toward the end zone. It's up in the air. Intercepted. 49ers intercept the ball. 49ers have the interception and will win the ball game.
In his second NFL campaign, Eric Davis, number 25, became a vital part of the defensive youth movement that also includes lineman Dennis Brown, number 96, a third-year pro, and Ted Washington, number 97, a second-year man. 1992 saw these youngsters help the defense become the league's second toughest to score upon. Linebackers David Wilkins and Martin Harrison, number 56, also comprised the defense's new generation, as did number 1 draft choice, Dana Hall, number 28.
I'm showing up. You showing up, Mr. Hanks? Are you here? Are you here? You coming with me today?
Eager to prove himself as a starter, the rookie safety played heads up and hard-nosed, and only veteran Don Griffin defensed more passes than Hall. An inexperienced but improving young secondary also included Alan Grant, Scooter Magruder, and Merton Hanks, number 36. As a member of the special teams, Hanks was responsible for the season's most unusual touchdown.
So a full hag will punt from a little bit deeper, and it was almost blocked. In fact, I wonder if somebody didn't touch it as it deflects and is picked up in midfield. 49ers take it back, and here's a big opportunity for Hanks. He may go. 20, 15, 10, 5 into the end zone. Touchdown, Merton Hanks, on an amazing play. Everybody stood around and let the ball bounce. Hanks picks it up and goes.
So heads up, I can't believe it.
Running back Ricky Watters also specialized in the unbelievable. Watters' flair for showmanship was evidenced by the way he walked, and especially by the way he ran. After sitting out his rookie season with injuries, Watters enjoyed a spectacular 1992 campaign. This stylish stiletto of a runner slashed his way to the Pro Bowl by rushing for over 1,000 yards and scoring 11 touchdowns. Averaging 4.9 yards per carry, Watters ran with grit as well as grace, and he was also a gifted receiver who caught 43 passes. Watters' versatility was one reason why the 49ers boasted pro football's most productive offense. Another reason was an outstanding offensive line. Tackle Harris Barton, number 79. Center Jesse Sapolu, number 61. Pro Bowl tackle Steve Wallace, number 74. Pro Bowl guard Guy McIntyre, number 62. And guard Roy Foster, number 67, spearheaded a running attack that ranked second in the NFC. The most productive member of this attack was a fierce, flashy competitor named Ricky Watters, who embodied the 49ers' unique penchant for infusing fresh new talent into their lineup. Young players like Ricky Waters were solidifying the present while also establishing continuity for the future. There were more dramatic moments than an Oscar-winning movie when the 49ers met the Rams in a Week 5 matchup at Candlestick. The defense rode to the rescue in the fourth period after LA assumed a 17-10 lead. A pair of takeaways set up touchdown runs by Steve Young.
Young to throw. Looks the other way. He's going to run. He should make it. Touchdown 49ers. Young to throw. Sets up. Tucks it in. Runs away to his left. Has some space. He's got lots of room. 35, 30. Stays in bounds. He's to the 20, 15. One man to get by. He's to the 5. Carries him into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. Oh, what a play. What a play by Steve Young.
Young was virtually unstoppable in this seesaw battle, and after the Rams tied the game again, he drove the Niners 77 yards in 8 plays, enabling Mike Kofer to secure the victory that would improve San Francisco's record to 4-1.
Here it is, the ball game on the line. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. It is up, and it is straight through. 49ers with 1 second to go take the lead at 27-24.
2 weeks later, the Falcons brashly brought their own trophy to Candlestick and sought to crown themselves California champions.
1, 2, 3.
Run it up.
Yeah.
Run it up.
You can't humiliate these boys. They brought their trophy in.
I know it.
That must be the present to us.
The trophy incited a riot of touchdowns, 3 of them by Jerry Rice.
Deep down the right sideline. Rice has it. 45, 40, 30. Is it going to be number 100? Yes! Jerry Rice's spectacular 80-yard touchdown pass. Young drops back to throw, looking for Rice. Got him on a slanted, makes the catch, breaks a tackle, breaks another. 20, 15, grab from behind, gets close, into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. And it's a reverse to Rice. He runs following Steve Young's block. He's to the 15, to the 10, 5, touchdown again, Jerry Rice. This time a running touchdown.
He's a bad man.
The Niners had a few bad men in this record-setting 56-17 triumph, as Rice caught 7 passes for 183 yards, Young passed for 399 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Ricky Waters rushed for 3 scores. With so many versatile performers, the 49ers boasted an offense that could wear many different hats.
I know it looks stupid with both these hats on, but when you get them, when you put 56 on the scoreboard, you can wear hats like this. I might get me a 3rd one, just because I can.
With Steve Young overshadowing opponents with his passing and running, the Niners' offense was always capable of putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Behind Young's league-best 26 touchdown passes, San Francisco was pro football's highest-scoring team in 1992. Young won the NFL passing title for the 2nd straight year, and in addition to being a statistical leader, he firmly established himself as a team leader. His crunch-time quarterbacking engineered wins in 5 games, where the 49ers either trailed or were tied in the 4th quarter. Young was also the league's finest running quarterback.
Steve, take it yourself.
Young's competitive fire earned him league MVP honors and his teammates' vote as the Len Ashmont Award winner.
Remember those old New York Life commercials that they used to have where the guy would get the briefcase and he'd run down the field and people would be diving after him and arms would be flailing and legs? That's kind of what Steve Young looks like. You know, you never know what he's going to do with the ball. He's just running down the field and people just seem to be missing, and all of a sudden he's in the end zone. It's kind of a crazy thing. It's fun to watch. It's not fun to block for, but it's fun to watch.
Young's many skills marked him as a worthy successor to one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game.
I looked at it like if I want to be the consummate quarterback, the consummate orchestrator of an offense. Joe Montana is the person that you want to be near to learn from, first of all, and then, you know, when he's not playing, to replace. And so, to me, this is the spot that I would want, mostly because you have the expectation to be a great quarterback.
Young's talent as an offensive orchestrator was most apparent in a crucial contest against New Orleans at Candlestick. In the second period, he directed an 80-yard drive that featured 10 consecutive running plays and caught the Saints totally off guard.
And Young drops back to throw, runs away, rolls out to his right, looks downfield, gonna run for it. He may get there. He does! Touchdown 49ers!
Tell him just keep it on the ground and just beat him up, you know, take it out of him.
But eventually, the 49ers found themselves limping behind their division rivals until Young erased a sizable deficit with scoring passes to Pro Bowl tight end Brent Jones.
20-7. Young to throw. Jones is there. Touchdown 49ers. Diving catch by Brent Jones. Now it is first and goal at the 7. And Young looking to the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. Brent Jones, the leaping catch. 49ers have tied the game. Extra point could wrap up a win in the final minute again.
Battle-hardened veterans are the bedrock of a proud defense that quietly and consistently ranks among the league's best. This unit is comprised of unselfish athletes who possess an absolute faith in the term teamwork. 7-year pro Don Griffin, number 29, is the leader of the defensive backfield, and in 1992 he topped the team in interceptions. The dean of the defense is 10-year linebacker Mike Walter, number 99. Behind veterans such as Walter, Michael Carter, Keith DeLong, number 59, and Bill Romanowski, number 53, the Niners boasted the league's third-best rushing defense. Number 75, Kevin Fagan, and Pro Bowl selection Pierce Holt, number 78, brought their seasoned savvy to a pass rush that also featured number 92, Tim Harris, whose 17 sacks represented the NFL's second highest total. While Harris was the big playmaker of a veteran defense, the offensive unit's most spectacular veteran was once again Jerry Rice. In his 8th NFL season, Rice earned Pro Bowl honors as he caught 84 passes for 1,201 yards and 10 scores. Rice's total of 11 touchdowns tied him with Ricky Waters for the club lead.
Play fake. Young's gonna throw. Launches it way downfield. Rice is out there. He's got it. He falls into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. It's a play fake to the right. Young comes back to the left. Pass is complete to Rice. Cuts to the outside. Has some blocking. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown 49ers.
Every one of Rice's graceful scoring strides brought him closer to Steve Largent's all-time record of 100 touchdown receptions. In game number 12, Rice tied Largent.
Young with a play fake, drops back to throw, goes deep middle end zone. Touchdown Jerry Rice. He gets his 100th touchdown catch.
The following week saw Rice keep his date with destiny.
Young drops back to throw, goes for Jerry Rice. Touchdown 49ers. Touchdown 49ers. Highway 101 belongs to Jerry Rice. Next exit, Hall of Fame. As Jerry Rice stands all alone as number 1 in pro football history in touchdown receptions.
Rice's pursuit of the record keyed an 8-game winning streak that featured many other heroes. Tom Rathman scored twice in a win over Miami. The following week at Minnesota, rookie Amp Lee, number 22, started in place of an injured Ricky Waters. Lee rushed for 134 yards and scored twice. After this victory, the Niners were poised to secure their 6th NFC West title in 7 seasons, while also clinching home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
They'll lock it up today. They'll lock it up today. Then the road comes through here, right?
Steve Young fired a touchdown pass to John Taylor, then hit Jerry Rice for a pair of scores in a win over Tampa Bay. With home field advantage guaranteed, the spotlight belonged exclusively to Joe Montana in the season's final contest. Playing his first regular season game in nearly 2 years, this legendary competitor recalled visions of past glories by throwing for 2 scores in a 24-6 win over Detroit.
Montana to throw across the middle. Brent Jones, touchdown 49ers.
With a 14-2 mark, the 49ers wrapped up the NFL's best regular season record for the 4th time in the last 6 seasons.
Just show everybody Joe can still play. You know, he's a competitor, and I think he proved a lot tonight.
Just felt good to be back in the game, finally. It's been a long time.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Candlestick Park. The playoffs, the 49ers against the Washington Redskins. The field has been very wet and soggy all week long. It's actually coming up from underneath. It could have some impact on this game. The 49ers and Redskins today, and this is a matchup of 2 of the finest teams in the league over the last 11 years. Between them, they've been in 8 Super Bowls. They've won 7 of those 8, so it promises to be an excellent contest.
Come on, Steve, let's go!
A patented precision drive opened the game, but a 17-3 halftime lead was built on a pair of touchdowns that suggested this contest would not be business as usual.
And Young rolling to his left. Under pressure. Throws, almost intercepted. Instead it's caught by Taylor. In the end. Young back to throw. Some pressure. Lets it go. He's got Brent Jones. He's to the goal line. He appears to be in. Touchdown 49ers.
All right, Brent. Fumble, because I wasn't in. I saw you.
The 49ers continually put the squeeze on themselves with uncharacteristic mistakes that allowed the Redskins back into the game. But fired-up defense overcame these errors by producing 4 second-half takeaways.
Let's go! Let's go get him!
Griffin drops back to throw again. This time he's going to step out and launch it way downfield. Ball's out at midfield. 49ers pick it off. Griffin with a Mitchell fumbles the ball, and ball is loose. 49ers have it. Unbelievable. Michael Walter has the fumble recovery as this zany, bizarre, absolutely undefinable game continues.
Mike Cofer gave the Niners a 20-13 lead with just under 2.5 minutes left to play. Then the defense stopped Washington's last-ditch charge.
Start out at their 22, and the crowd is getting anxious and noisy. So now it's the 49er defense against the Redskin offense.
The 49ers advanced to their 7th championship game since 1981 and climaxed another successful season built on toughness, talent, and teamwork.
One of the most critical factors was the fact that the team came together. I think this year the team, each man kind of dedicated himself to being the best football player he possibly could be, and everybody seemed to get along quite well. I think probably it's, of all the teams I've been with the 49ers, it might be the team that got along best, had a lot of fun with one another.
1992 brought back good news to the Bay Area and bad news to the rest of the NFL, as the San Francisco 49ers served notice that they were playing together again.
Hi, I'm Steve Sable. The 1993 offseason has seen the 49ers engage in a frenzy of wheeling and dealing. Of course, the most significant offseason move was the trade that sent Joe Montana to the Chiefs. Montana was the last of only 5 players, Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, Keena Turner, and Mike Wilson, were the others to play on all 4 of San Francisco's world champion teams. So the departure of this great quarterback truly signals the end of an era. But the Niners' new era is full of promise, providing they can recover from their loss to Dallas at last year's NFC Championship game.
In the NFC Championship game, the 49ers saw an early touchdown negated by a penalty. Then were further undone by turnovers and big plays by Dallas. Now they have to be concerned that the past doesn't become prologue.
Everybody's worked so hard, you work all year to get yourself to this particular point, and then you lose the ball game. And certainly the loss last year to Dallas was a devastating defeat. But it's something that you've got to be careful of, in that you can't dwell on it to the point that it sidetracks you from what you have to then accomplish the next year, or sidetracks you in a way that dilutes your emotion to win, because sometimes people become afraid to win too much because then they're afraid of the downer if you then lose. So we have to fight that prepare ourselves going into this next season.
For Seifert, that fight will be easier thanks to a mighty arsenal of offensive weapons that includes quarterback Steve Young and wideouts Jerry Rice, number 80, and John Taylor, number 82. Taylor missed most of last season with an injury, but he's expected to be up to full stride in '93. Taylor's presence will take some of the heat off of Rice, who enjoyed another productive season in '92, even with the heat on him. Rice became Pro Football's all-time leader in touchdown receptions. But while number 80 is the 49ers' main go-to guy, they will spread the ball around again in 1993. They possess a Pro Bowl tight end in Brent Jones, number 84, and fullback Tom Rathman, number 44, is a fine receiver out of the backfield. Amp Lee, number 22, and Ricky Waters, number 32, provide San Francisco with a pair of outstanding young running backs. Waters rushed for over 1,000 yards and emerged as one of the league's most exciting performers. With so many game breakers, it's easy to see why San Francisco topped the NFL with 431 points in '92. The offensive leader is Steve Young, who has the potential to surpass his MVP season of a year ago.
I think this year, for the first time, I think you're really going to see the full range of what Steve Young can do as a quarterback. We've seen 2 or 3 game streaks and glimpses of what he can do as a player. But I think this year, I think this will be his finest year. I think that because I think he'll be freed of the Montana shadow and just able to know that I can go over my next 10 and I'm not going to be booed and people aren't going to be screaming for Joe and things like that. I think the game has been a big mental game for Steve in these last 2 or 3 years, and although he won't say it, although he won't talk about it, there's a huge, huge weight lifted off him now that Montana's not there anymore.
It's Young's offense and a Young defense. The Niners have traditionally been tough against the run, and '92 was no exception. But with Pierce Holt and Tim Harris lost to free agency, the team's front seven has been weakened, and whether San Francisco can mount an effective pass rush is now a questionable proposition. In the '93 draft, the 49ers selected 2 defensive linemen, Dana Stubblefield and Todd Kelly, in the first round. The Niners are known for giving their young players plenty of responsibility. Defensive backs like Eric Davis, number 25, and Dana Hall are still learning on the job.
The strength of our defensive club is based on these young players, and I think that they played well when given the opportunity. I feel as though Dana Hall made positive strides this past season. We gave an awful lot of responsibility to him, and so I look for him to be that much better this next season.
To anchor their inexperienced secondary, the 49ers signed much-coveted free agent safety Tim McDonald, number 46, a Pro Bowl performer for the Cardinals.
Tim McDonald's the kind of player that any team would love to have, and particularly a team like the 49ers. You have a very dominant quarterback on offense, and being a free safety, the guy in center field on defense, that's sort of the quarterback too, and it's a wonderful feeling to know you have this guy behind you who can make the spectacular plays, who can fire people up, who can come up and stick runners on sweeps, who can come into the line, who just is a heady, heads-up ball player, a Pro Bowl safety. You know, you can't just find those guys, and when they want to play for you and they're impact players, it's a fabulous thing to have.
And with so many impact players already in place on an explosive offense, the 49ers are poised for yet another great season.
I just think San Francisco this year, you're going to see a terrific year from Steve Young, and you're going to see a team that I think is going to reestablish itself as a team for the mid-90s. I like San Francisco to be the best team in football this year, to beat Dallas in one of the greatest championship games that the game has ever seen, and then to go to the Super Bowl and to beat San Diego in a lopsided Super Bowl.
Long before Rice, Waters, and Young, the 49ers were offensive-minded, and they were famous for producing breathtaking plays and big point totals. Our Classics segment salutes one of the finest in a long line of great 49er receivers, Gene Washington. But we begin with a look at a great defensive player from San Francisco's proud past, linebacker Dave Wilcox.
Lunchtime in Junction City, Oregon. At home with one of the greatest outside linebackers ever to play pro football. Today he's a mild-mannered husband and father, living the good life on 180 choice acres of Oregon farmland. But yesterday, his disposition was a little different. His name, Dave Wilcox.
Defensively, I had an area, and I did not like people in that area. So when I prepared to play the game, it was to keep everybody out of that area. Nobody was going to run in my area. Nobody was going to pass in my area. This is my spot, and nobody was welcome there except me.
His opponents remember him for three things. First, his intensity.
My first experience with Dave Wilcox was not on the field, but when I was drafted by Minnesota, I went up to watch the University of Oregon alumni play their varsity team. And Wilcox was beating up the varsity so bad at Oregon that they wouldn't let him play in the varsity game anymore, in the alumni game.
His intensity was complemented by an active football intelligence.
He used to talk to himself. What do they do here? All right, what are they going to try to do? Constantly talking, you know. You didn't know if he was talking to you, the guy next to him, and you come to find out he's talking to himself, but constantly talking to himself. He was a stud.
And like other studs of his era, Dave Wilcox didn't hesitate to use a little intimidation.
Basically, Dave played the game from his spot as an outside backer like Dick Butkus played it for the Bears in the middle, because the rules weren't quite the same. You could hit people anywhere, anytime, in the face, in the neck, whatever it took to make the play, as long as it was aggressive within the rules.
We had one particular play where we need to beat them, otherwise we don't get in the playoffs in '68. I think it was the second to the last game of the season, so there's no way I was going to lose the game. But I think late in the game, I take off on a kind of a scramble, and I get to go all the way to the end zone, clear in the left corner of the end zone. Dave Wilcox, linebacker.
Two trophies in his collection speak volumes about his career. One is from a television network, naming him to their All-Pro team. at the wrong position. The other is from the Players Association, selecting him as the NFL's Linebacker of the Year.
I understand how the New York media worked. I was a very low-key guy, kind of down to earth, and really didn't wear jewelry and, you know, go to nightclubs and go to Hollywood all the time. But what's very important is that your peers recognize that maybe, you know, you weren't too bad, and then you go play in the Pro Bowls.
His peers voted him into 7 Pro Bowls in 8 seasons, where he once again made lasting impressions.
I went outside the defensive end on a pass route, and I believe, if I remember correctly, he knocked my helmet off. It was the first time I've ever had my helmet knocked off during a game, and I think he rung my bell a little bit, and I got up rather slowly and began, for the first time, I began to think, why am I out here? Why am I subjecting my body to this type of punishment?
Which is probably what the Kansas City Chiefs were wondering one night in 1971.
It was the first time we were ever on the Monday night game. We didn't really know how to act, and we got beat. Of course, Kansas City was a very good football team.
By game's end, the ABC broadcast team was singing praises to their newfound all-world linebacker.
Well, that was nice of Howard. The guys thought a lot of Howard. A very knowledgeable person about something, wasn't football.
The fact is, it didn't take exceptional insight to recognize a truly exceptional linebacker.
Dominated people. Dick Butkus was great because he dominated people. Dave Wilcox dominated people. I could find a piece of film every week where he'd take a guy and carry him over and lay him on a pile. Well, who did that with a 265-pound man? And he never knew he was doing these things. I mean, I can remember John Mackey, as great as he was. All the great tight ends had come into Kezar Stadium, or wherever we'd go. They never caught diddly. They'd beat us every other way, but nobody could get off the line.
A lot of linebackers have that same size, speed. I can recall watching Wilcox between plays. He had a way of crossing his legs and looked nonchalant. But the fact is, once that ball was snapped, he brought an intensity, whether it was on a blitz, whether it was on a covering a man or making the tackle. I got to say, Dave Wilcox is everything and played the position as well as anybody that's ever played the position.
Wilcox was the kind of guy that thrived on pressure. He would want you to come to his side. Don't run away from me. If it's 3rd and 1, come to my side. Challenge the best.
Dave Wilcox retired from the game in 1975. His life today is as rich and sweet as the cherries in his orchard. A footballer turned farmer, at peace with all around him.
He's just a right man at peace with himself. But if you'll talk to any tight end that ever played this game, he is the meanest, most ornery guy that ever played the game. I think he is the best outside linebacker that has ever played the game by a long way.
Indeed, one must wonder why this punishing perfectionist is not yet in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, I definitely think I should be there. I did what I was asked to do as a player. And whatever I did, basically probably did better than anybody. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging at all, but nobody ever ran to our side. If they ran, they would never make many yards. It all kind of comes back to this, that this is my spot. And it's kind of like you're king of the hill and nobody's going to knock you off of it.
When the 49ers selected Gene Washington in the 1st round of the 1968 draft, they were getting much more than a polished receiver. They were getting a player with a unique insight to the game.
I played quarterback through my junior year at Stanford. So when I made the switch from quarterback to receiver, as a receiver, I thought the way a quarterback thought. So oftentimes a receiver will say to a quarterback, I can get open. But the quarterback can't see the receiver in that particular situation. You might think you're open, but from my vantage point as a quarterback, you're not open. So I always thought along the lines of a quarterback, trying to get myself in situations where not only did I feel that I could maneuver, but the quarterback could see it.
He knew my problems, and he knew how much time he had. He had a little clock in his head, and he took as much as he could, but he didn't take any more. And he knew if I was in trouble, he'd be looking.
But see, now he's coming over to take you. That's why I've got that other side out there pretty good shape.
Who's coming over?
The free safety. He's going to be on you. You're his man whenever they go with that 48 EG. You're his man. You're Mel's man. You're saying he can't get you, huh? Huh?
Quarterbacks, they rely on that. They can't wait to see you get open and throw the ball. It's too late. But a lot of receivers don't think about that. All they think about is just their little immediate area. Well, I'm here, the defensive back here, I'm open. There's a lot more to it than that.
Washington's remarkable ability to elude defenders was in large part due to his regimented body language downfield. It was Gene's consistent, rudimentary style of play that allowed 49er quarterbacks to anticipate his every move, getting the ball into his hands.
Washington was slippery. It was hard to jam. He was a fluid receiver. He'd be on you before you knew it.
Gene was a great receiver. His biggest strength, I think, was running with the ball once he'd catch it. He was almost like a running back in open field. If the ball was anywhere near him, he was going to get it.
Selected an All-Pro and for the Pro Bowl in his first 4 years in the NFL, Washington helped lead San Francisco to Western Division titles in 1970, 71, and 72. In addition, Washington led the 49ers in receiving 6 of his 10 years in the NFL and retired as the club's all-time leading receiver. Washington's approach to football served notice to opponents that a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. San Francisco had never won a title until the 3 consecutive division crowns the 49ers achieved following the arrival of Washington. Unlike the progression of many great athletes, Washington began his career at its pinnacle, only to see his team spiral out of contention. And while the 49ers were relying on gadget plays to survive, it was the sure hands of Washington that made the plays work.
I was at the top of my game when the 49ers as a team were at the worst. And it was very disheartening. But if a team double covers you, there's not much you can do if your team can't take advantage of other receivers and play calls and so forth and so on.
Despite the 49ers' plummet from championship to cellar, Washington continued to perform as a true professional. In a 49er history rich in receivers, Gene Washington surely ranks among San Francisco's greatest.